Hello, everyone. We are live on Travel Tech, second edition APAC. Right now, we go to the video for our sponsors, and then we're going to start the show. Be welcome.
When talking about building engagement and excitement through virtual experiences, the finest platform out there, Virtual Console, offers an unmatched solution. A do-it-for-you platform, Virtual Console offers an end-to-end tech solution that enables our clients to create personalized and custom events in just 48 hours. While the platform remains easy to use and navigate, assistance and support is available at every step to create a seamless experience. Not only is the platform scalable, varying participant sizes, it has proven to be cost-efficient. Let's explore the various features that Virtual Console has to offer. The attendees log in using an email ID or mobile number and enter the lobby area, which has event and partner branding, along with various speaker profiles and agenda for the event. Public and one-on-one chat functionalities, along with breakout rooms, enable attendee interaction. Attendees then proceed to the auditorium, where all the action lies. And the Expo Center offers partners their booths with networking and lead generation opportunities. Attendees can see glimpses of the event in the gallery. Virtual Console offers in-depth event analytics to ascertain and track the attendee touchpoints, time spent across various functions, and beyond. Let us have a look at something Virtual Console recently put together for one of our clients with over 3,000 attendees. A creative, captivating, customized, and cost-efficient solution by Virtual Console that meets the purpose and delivers beyond expectations. With the changing times and trends, it's time to bet big on virtual events and experiences. Trust us to be the virtual event solution specialist you need. Virtual Console, here to deliver. Book your demo with us at Virtual Console.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Travel Tech Second Edition Asia Pacific. I'm really happy to announce today that we have a huge and big sharks from our market that are gonna make you learn a lot. However, today I'm gonna be on the background. The person that will manage the entire session is Miss Neha Gironia, a friend of us that helped us from the first beginning, one of the best marketing persons and knowledge and efficiency that I ever know. So, Neha, thank you so much to be here and support us. Just to let everybody know, today we will speak about how operations plus guest experience will change your revenue and satisfaction. I will repeat through everybody how operations plus guest experience will change your revenue and satisfaction. And if it's your first time here with us, Travel Tech started the last year with major events all over the world. We are the unique event 100% online that is managed in three different languages. That is English, Portuguese, and Spanish. That really, to be really, because we have a lot of them that said that they cover the entire world. But if you speak English, you never cover Portuguese and even Spanish. We are the unique one, 100% independent, and all the support that we have is from our sponsors and all the people that come and join us to share knowledge, tip, and hints. So don't lose this opportunity to speak with those major persons that are here. Second thing that is very important, we are transmitting right now through LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Miha will present herself, of course, and her company, and after that, she will give the word for each of our special guests that we have here. They will present them 3 minutes about themselves and their companies, and then we're going to start the first round of the questions. When we finish the questions, if you have questions, if you have doubts, enjoy. It's the unique place where you can write down on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook. We will see here in the chat for the demonstrations. And when everybody finish their questions, their explanations, we will ask them. So you don't have the chance to every day call James Liaw, Aqeel Ahmed, Chris Gribble, Ruben Westmeijer, Robert Bell, Ken Patel, and even Miss Neha Girona. So profit it. That is the time where we do inclusion. If you have doubts, go ahead. Right now, I'm gonna give the word for my big and best friend, Neha. Neha, it's all yours, my dear.
Thank you so very much, Vinny. Thank you so much. So once again, everyone, my name is Neha Ginoria and I head up marketing for Erev Max Rate Tiger. I come with around 13 plus years of experience in the hospitality industry, and I feel privileged to be moderating today's session and be in company of such esteemed panel. Like Vinny mentioned, I'm stepping in for him today, the founder of Travel Tech, who has done a commendable job creating this massive educational event series. And this is the second edition. We have done a series of events last year, and we are already on the second edition, which in itself shows the success of how this event is going. So I would like to welcome our speakers for today. We have James Liaw, Senior Director, Account Management APAC for Review Pro, who's based out of Singapore, I believe. We have Aqeel Ahmed, co-founder, Virtual Console. And Virtual Console, of course, is an events tech company. Aqeel has been CEO for RateGain for very many years, so brings a lot of knowledge and insights from all his years in the industry. Robert Bell, Product Manager, HubOS. Chris Gribble, Vice President and General Manager, Asia Pacific and Middle East for Infor Hospitality. Chris is based out of Sydney again and comes with very many years of experience in the industry. Ken Patel, CEO of EV Hotel Group, and Ruben Westmeijer, co-founder, Bond Connect, based out of Portugal, which I just heard a few minutes back. So thank you so very much, gentlemen, for joining in today. Please be welcome. And I would now like to invite all of you to take a couple of minutes and introduce yourselves and your companies. So let's start with James. James, over to you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Very glad to be here to join everyone this morning. I'm James. I'm from ReviewPro. I've been around the travel industry for around 15 years, 6 years in the travel tech space, 4 years now with ReviewPro, previously spending 2 years with the OTA. So ReviewPro has been the world leader in guest intelligence for over the last 10 years. We are actually part of the Suji Group now, a global organization which provides us a complete suite of technology solutions for the hospitality industry, helping hotels to operate more efficiently. The products that the company offers covers everything from payments, distribution needs, operation platforms, and obviously our guest engagement solutions. So in the past decade, ReviewPro has been dedicated to helping our clients globally to deliver better guest experiences. So that is achieved by providing them with a powerful set of tools to collect guest feedback at very important key touch points of the guest journey. That can be through a guest review, surveys, or right now, the guest messaging platform. The hotel will be able to manage all this from one central dashboard. This dashboard will then provide actionable insights into areas where operational and service improvements can be implemented. So by using the AI-driven messaging platform, the hoteliers these days can also automate guest communication to respond faster and more efficiently to queries or any request. Now, this helps the hoteliers to take quick action to fix problems, even when the guest is still on the property. So especially in these extraordinary times, we are actually more focused than ever to create truly remarkable experiences for guests by understanding their evolving needs and providing that technological transformation needed to meet those demands today. So that's pretty much about myself and the company. I'll hand it over back to Neha. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome on board again. Next, we have Aqeel Ahmed from Virtual Console. So Aqeel, please go ahead.
Aqeel, I think your microphone on mute.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you. My name is Aqeel Ahmed, and I have been a corporate executive all my life till end of last year. My last stint was with RateGain, as Neha described. I was a member of the founding team there and also its chief operating officer right from inception. And I was looking after operations, part of the integration management office, and most of the strategic objectives of the company. It was towards the end of last year that I decided to turn into an entrepreneur, and started by co-founding this company called Virtual Console, which is a SaaS platform for conducting virtual and hybrid events, driven by the pandemic and all of the opportunities created by it. And just 3-4 months ago, I got into this full time. And the fact that the huge market that lies out there for virtual events was a big driver for me to get into this. And I've been lucky to get extremely good initial traction. We are less than 6 months old, and we have already garnered agencies like BCD Meetings and Events as one of our customers, and have also accumulated a lot of big corporate brands from India, Singapore, Middle East, and elsewhere. So this has been a very remarkable beginning, and we've had a very lucky run so far, early days though. And we are also, like Vinicius explained, and I'm sure you guys just saw the video and you might have noticed, we are one of the sponsors to this show. And the stalls area is being hosted on our platform. If you've seen the stalls area, or you might be seeing it later. So glad to be here with such august colleagues and industry peers, as as I have on my left and right on the screen right now. So thank you very much for having me here, and thank you so much, Travel Tech team, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aqeel. It's so heartwarming to know that you're just 6 months old with Virtual Console and already doing so well. All the very best, and we look forward to many great things ahead. And just a point here, what you call luck, I think it is all your hard work and experience that is translating for your new business. So way to go, man. Next up is Robert Bell from Hub OS. Robert, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Neha. It's a pleasure to be here. Really great to have this opportunity. So my name is Robert Bell. I'm from Hub OS. Hub OS is a SaaS product for your hotel operations, and we are sort of fully integrated. So we are sort of the go-to platform where we can integrate your housekeeping operations, your maintenance operations, your front of house, all your sort of operational needs sort of under the one hood, really. So I'm the product manager. I'm based out of Sydney, and my focus is Australia and, of course, all of APAC as well. So we've got a very wide focus, and my job is sort of multifold at the minute. So, with the strength of the team being out of Europe and, vast amount of our customer base out of Europe, I'm here to sort of bring this product and all its benefits and its features to this region. So I'm here to sort of found the team here in Sydney and build that team. And then, what I'm doing is I am sort of the guy for the implementations and, the training to bring Hub to the new Hub hotels. So I'm, going on site, going to hotels. I'm sort of doing the training, the implementing, and sort of supporting them with their operations. Then as well, raising industry awareness. So sort of building marketing campaigns, and we've done presentations at the AHICE conference and the No Vacancy conference here in Australia this year. So we're really sort of getting Hub in everybody's line of sight and really sort of introducing it to the market. But also I really need to sort of drive the evolution of this product. So it's understanding the hotel tech landscape in this region, understanding any sort of nuances for hotel operations, what it is that sort of hotels are looking to do, what sort of new tech and new features they're after, and sort of feeding that back into the sort of development cycle so we can grow and adapt Hub to become, sort of increasingly become the best product that there is out there. And then as well, there's a sales element as well. So getting out there, taking Hub to new hotels and bringing in new business. So multi-pronged, and it's great opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much, Rob. You sound like a man with multiple hats, and it is so interesting to know all the different things that you're, taking care of at Hub OS. So welcome on board, and so glad to have you here. Next up, we have Chris Gribble from Infor Hospitality. Chris, please go ahead and introduce.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much again, as the other speakers have already said, for having us here today. Do appreciate it. It's a great opportunity for us, I assure you. I think I'm probably going to be the oldest person in the industry on the panel. I probably have about 30 plus years within the hospitality technology space. So I've been around for quite a number of years, and it's been very interesting to see the changes that have occurred in that time to the industry, the outlook, the views of how the whole industry performs and how it actually reacts to different things. So hopefully I can add some of that into today's discussions. My role in Asia Pacific is to firstly look after some of our major accounts that we have here. And we are very, very customers focused as far as Infor is concerned. And I also have the responsibility of looking after our partner network, who distribute and implement and also support a lot of our products. Infor. The wonderful thing about Infor is most people that I talk to say, who are we? We're a company that doesn't seem to actually have got out there into the industry and, shall we say, promoted to the extent we should our name. We're probably more known for a lot of our products within hospitality, such as Sun systems in back office. We actually have a lot of legacy front office applications and quite a few other products such as Easy RMS that people know quite well. Infor itself is a global company. We are cloud focused. We have over 14,000 cloud customers as of today, 14,000 plus actually. We are focused on industries. So we don't just do hospitality. Being a global company, we actually do manufacturing, we do service industries such as financial, maybe also professional services, construction. We do government, private sector, public sector, I should say, energy and natural resources, and also we're very much into healthcare. We produce end-to-end solutions for industry. So when we go into an industry, we focus on what's necessary for that industry. We either acquire products that we may find are required for that industry, or we build them ourselves. And one of the probably most important one for us at the moment is our front office application, which is a multi-tenanted SaaS offering called HMS. So yeah, look, thank you very much for having me today. Hopefully I can contribute to the discussions in a very productive way and look forward to the questions. Thank you, Nia.
Thank you so much, Chris, and welcome again on board. We are looking forward to actually leveraging your years of experience and, you know, adding on to this discussion today. So thank you and welcome on board. Next up, Mr. Ken Patel from EV Hotel Group. So Ken, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Ken, you're on mute actually, so please kindly unmute yourself.
There we go. Thank you for having me. Obviously, thank you to Vinicius for the kind invitation.
Yeah, don't thank me, man. Thank you, Neha. I'm just in the background today, man. For me, have all of you here is an amazing thing. So please, you don't need to say thank you to myself. And it's not myself. We have a team here that helps. We have our co-founder, we have Natalia, Christian, we have Neha. So normally people say thank you to me, but at the end, okay, my team needs to say thank you because I'm the only one working for the last 45 days to 11 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock my time to be connected to APAC. It's not myself only. And I'm thank you to be here. You are a reference in technology. You're a reference and robots for the industry. So I thank you. Don't thank me, please. Sorry.
Awesome. So obviously, you know, it's a pleasure to be here and in front of all these great speakers and panels. And, you know, I'm relieved to get away from the TV screens to actually see people and kind of talk to them more instead of being interviewed. So it's just a pleasure to be here. A little about me. I've been in the hospitality industry 25 years, the last 12 years at C-suite, 7 years as a CEO in New York City for a big hospitality company there. And now, obviously, I'm the founder of EV Hotel Group. EV Hotel Group was founded in 2020, and also the founder of EV Human. That is the world's first all-in-one software for hospitality that has a front end and back end integrated, and with our integration partners being Stripe and Microsoft. And then I obviously have my own show called Hospitality 360. It's almost as the show View on ABC. We're live every Thursday on LinkedIn and YouTube. So we got a lot of different pieces going on, and this is my 25th year in hospitality. I've got an MBA from Emirates Academy in Dubai and the International Hospitality Management School there. And, you know, we're just kind of doing a lot to change this industry. Everything is revolutionary. In 7 weeks, we are releasing the first ever housekeeping automation robots. So that means our philosophy from day one has been to create a less task-driven system with more streamlined processes. And how we're doing that is, even with these automation robots, now the housekeeper will only have 2 tasks, and that is to sanitize the room and bed operations. The robots will clean the entire bathroom, mop, vacuum. Then we've got a house person robot. So we have these great partnerships that we've done. And I know throughout the industry, they think I'm Elon. They keep calling me Elon Musk of hospitality, but that's way too much pressure to be added. So I'm just fine being Ken Patel of hospitality. And, you know, our goal is to revolutionize this industry and obviously make it where the employees want to work, you know, make it where the guests do want to come to hotels. So, and that's kind of my story.
Thank you so much, Ken. I did do a little bit of research, but I did not know about your upcoming project. So, and congratulations on your silver jubilee in the industry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome on board again, and I look forward to all your contribution today in the discussion. And our final speaker for today, Ruben from Bond Connect. Ruben, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Neha. Welcome, everyone. As you can see, it's quite dark out here. It's 3:25 a.m., so it's really in the middle of the night. But it's a real pleasure to be here, and it's definitely worth it to stay up late and to prepare all these, the discussion topics and stuff for today. I really feel like a new kid on the block. I've been not as long as in hospitality as all these guys, but I hope I've been long around enough to contribute to the topics and discussions later today. So my name is Ruben. I actually entered the wonderful world of hospitality tech around 4 years ago. I started my journey at a property management system where I basically took care of our partnership program. And while at the start that was mostly focused on the commercial side, we noticed that with the time passing and the era of open APIs and connectivity, there was a big focus on integration partners and building the integration partner program there. And that was going actually very well until something called COVID came to have a look in this world. And unfortunately, I was one of the many people who lost their job during this pandemic. But, where one door closes, another door opens. So I took that opportunity to actually stay in the field that I really, really enjoyed, which is basically partnerships and connectivity in hospitality tech. And I started my own company, which is it's now Bond Connect, which is called Bond Connect. And I'm really proud of that, that we started this a year ago, during a pandemic. Of course, we had some challenges, but mostly it's been very successful until now. And basically what we do with Bond Connect is we saw a bit of a disconnect actually between different hospitality tech solutions, but also hospitality tech and consultants and hospitality experts. And from my experience also working for a PMS, we know that hospitality experts, consultants, revenue managers could have a very positive impact on the product adoption of hospitality tech. And basically our aim with Bond Connect is to create those connections and the interaction between those experts and hospitality tech vendors to basically create a better experience for hoteliers, to have a better product adoption, to increase the knowledge about hospitality tech and different areas within hospitality. And just be a community there that shares knowledge and increases the experience for hoteliers, and make sure that everybody benefits from partnerships and cooperation. So I hope I can definitely contribute in that area, and I'm really looking forward to the topics and the questions.
Thank you so much, Ruben. I think I forgot to mention, I believe Ken is based out of Atlanta, and yourself in Portugal, rest of us, of course, in different parts of Asia Pacific. So it's like a widely spread out team of experts here in different time zones. So let me thank you all again for making time out for joining in today and be here and be part of the discussion basically. So thank you all again and very, very welcome to all of you. I would now like to
please don't forget about myself, because normally I'm working till 6 o'clock in the morning here. Say thank you to myself, please.
I was about to mention you, Vinny, but you just told Ken that we should not be thanking you for anything, so I stopped myself short. But
that is true.
You are the man behind this, and I would definitely want to thank you for putting this together, for all your hours of not sleeping and going crazy, and then coming back to normalcy. But I mean, really, this is your baby
right
for
now,
sure.
You
and
cannot say I'm the man, because if you say I'm the man, right now
with
it's
the
like
team,
I'm the man
with the
behind.
team, of course.
Maybe
Yes.
I'm just a person. People are changing.
Superb. So once more, let me just quickly mention Travel Tech is one of the biggest online events, completely independent, and we would like to thank all our sponsors for their support, for joining and for participating in the discussions and sharing their knowledge. I want to welcome all our attendees and viewers who are watching the session live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Please use the chat or comment box to ask any questions you might have. We'll take that towards the end of the discussion and try to address all your questions. Thank you again for tuning in, and let's get started now. We have around 1 hour 45 minutes for the session, in which we'll try to cover 2 rounds of questions. So we'll start with the first round now. And my first question is for James from Review Pro. So James, according to you, what is the role of guest feedback when improving hotel operations? I repeat, what is the role of guest feedback when improving hotel operations? Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I believe the OTAs and review sites have become a very important source of reference for people like you and me today when it comes to shopping for a hotel room. People are more inclined these days to leave a review, leave a feedback based on their stay experience. Ourselves, we will probably visit multiple sites, reading the reviews to help us in our buying decision before committing to a hotel room. So now that means the hotels these days will need to be looking into the same set of data that are actually influencing people like you and me, and as well as making use of this set of feedback to improve their operations. Yeah. So this set of data can actually help us to identify who are actually staying at the hotels, what influenced them to book the hotel rooms, and the things that they really like or dislike, and the problems that they may have faced during the stay. And if so, were those problems actually managed well by the team? Now, by converting this large set of data into meaningful insights, the hotels will be able to identify what really matters the most to the guest and allocate the right resources to change the way things are done today in the hotels. They can fine-tune the operational processes, even by making the tweaks to the products and services to improve and to actually stand out in a very highly competitive landscape. However, the hotels don't really have much control over the feedback from the reviews to understand the entire guest experience or the entire guest journey from this very channel. So I think it is important to therefore complement this by sending guest surveys to collect more detailed feedback. So by having the guest survey, data can actually help you to break down the feedback by each department, each room type, or even by the guest profile whenever that's available. Yeah, it allows us to actually dig deep into every part of this guest journey, from the time they check in, from the time they stay in the room, as well as the experience they have with the F&B offering in the hotel, and obviously when they leave the hotel, when they check out. Yeah. So this information, this feedback from the guests will then be sent to the different team members to hear about, how the guests feel and any feedback from them to take the necessary actions so to improve. Now, if you have this set of information, I think it's key because it helps you to understand what really affects the guest satisfaction the most. because without this data, you would just be wild guessing, what guests really like or not like about their stay. So some examples we have with the clients we work with. So this is real. Clients who actually, based on the feedback from the guests, saw a very specific market that they are actually not doing very well for their breakfast. All they had to do was just to adapt the options, the offerings during breakfast. And based on that little tweak, they can actually see a huge increase in the satisfaction score. Now, another one I think is common these days, corporate clients working out with hotels, they actually feedback through the guest survey that they are not having a common space to actually co-work. And based on that very feedback, the guests actually just had to, restructure some of the spaces to accommodate this feedback. And again, they see a huge increase in the satisfaction from their guests. Apart from, getting feedback from the guests, you can also proactively seek feedback while the guest is still on the property.
Sorry to interrupt, James.
Yeah.
I think, Ken, your microphone is unmuted. There's a little bit of static. So if you could kindly mute yourself, Ken.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Neha. Yeah, so while the guest is still on the property, you can actually send them a survey or a message through the messaging system, so that you proactively, seek out and identify issues before the guests actually leave the property. That allows you to actually render your service recovery. Now, with all these processes in place, you can actually identify the issues, fix them before the guests actually leave. Now, this makes the guests happy and leaves very satisfied. You want the guests to come back again. And by having these processes in place, I think it's important to do that. What is really key here, obviously, then is to continuously reassess the processes based on the feedback to see if everything is going well, where any possible bottlenecks in your operations may lie, identify if all the issues were solved, and within what time frame, was it reasonable time frame, and using what resolutions offered. This analytics then, of course, will help us to make better informed decisions to improve the operational flows and processes. Yeah. So basically, I think our feedback here is key to helping the hotels to streamline, to improve the operational processes, to improve that guest experiences. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got interrupted. I have a point in what just said. Remind that we have a few chatbots in the world. Review Pro was the first one for reviews, but right now we have other companies that have a chatbot. However, Review Pro is still the number one also in chatbot. The first one, you have more than 14 connectivities, including booking. I don't know if you speak about it, you already have, for example, the first one, you have Instagram and a lot of them. And we have a lot of people saying, oh, we're the first one and everything. It's okay. But in your point of view, how the chat automatically will help not only before, during, or after stay, that will help the guest experience? Is a question.
Yeah. So actually, this is to complement with the current trend. So people like ourselves, we have evolved from using emails, from making phone calls. These days, all of us prefer to send a WhatsApp message, or a Telegram message, or whatever channel that is popular within your geographic market. So, which is why in Review Pro we decided to offer this solution to the client, to the hotels, so that they are able to respond to handle requests from their guests through all these different channels. And because obviously our clients operate globally, we offer obviously then the major channels that are available in each different countries or regions that are popular to actually have that connection. So I think it's really important that there is a centralized platform for hotels to be organized, be able to effectively use technology, AI, to manage the very simple questions that guests have, rather than waiting for an email to be responded. These days, even when we visit any website, like myself, if I want to find something, usually I'm met with a chatbot on the website, and I could easily get my answer within like maybe the next 30 seconds or 60 seconds, instead of sending an email, waiting for 1 or 2 days before I get my answer. I think that kind of prompt response from the hotels will actually help to, improve the whole guest experience. So people these days are more demanding, I would say. They demand a response or an answer faster than before. Like they rather not wait for 1 or 2 days. They want the answer now and then. So I think by having that solution for the hotels, for the staff, it's actually a lot easier for them to manage the guest request, and obviously to improve that whole guest experience they have from the moment they book the room, or in fact, they were just looking for the room until they book the room, stay at the hotel, and until they finish the whole stay experience. So obviously, I think that is key in the ever changing market these days. Yeah.
And James, I have another question that's very tricky. I'm the dark side of the moon, like Pink Floyd, or maybe it can be a little bit Darth Vader now, but it's part of the show. When we speak about chatbots, for example, before or during the stay, do you agree that right now chatbots needs to improve during the stay? Because maybe you're in a hotel, you can just check a QR code, and if you want to do something in that area, let's say, right now, as you know, corporate will change in all the countries and all the big cities in the world. Corporate and MICE will recover more than 2 years than I expected. Leisure is very fast. And talking about leisure, how you think that a chatbot can help a person that is in a hotel and tell them, for example, to create an upselling with the chat box. Okay, I'm here. I have, I don't know, spa, and I have a message. No, not message as a message, a massage. Sorry from our pronunciation. Not a massage. But for example, how you think, for example, a chat box needs to improve to offer also what is happening in the geographical zone. What I mean with this, normally hotels think and provide the best experience before, during, and after the stay. However, what I see with 17 years on this market is that most hoteliers don't think that they can resell other opportunities on the region. So how you think a chatbot needs to improve, provide an expectation for the hotel or teach them how they can sell, I don't know, be very cliche or very, stupid. Party boat. I'm leisure. I want to go to a party boat. Maybe you want to do surfing. What do you think if the chatbot can offer that instead of a hotel, making revenue?
So here, I think there are like a few points to actually address the question. So firstly, I think having that messaging platform, having that chatbot, firstly helps you to address the need of translation communications, because you have people from different countries who may not speak the language where the hotel is based. So having a chatbot, having a messaging platform can help the hotels to actually communicate in the language preferred, meaning to say the chatbot will be able to identify the language that has been, the text has been sent, and be able to respond accordingly, in the same language. Otherwise, for example, like if I'm a Chinese, I can't speak French. I'm in a French hotel, and I might have difficulties asking for what I need if they choose to not speak English or Chinese to me, or Mandarin to me, right? So I think that firstly will help the hotel.
James, sorry to interrupt you. Never use a French as an example. French is wow. Okay. I have family from France, and even French is different. Maybe we can use another one. So sorry, that's a good thing. We're in APAC now. If I said that in EMEA, maybe everybody will kill me. but the French people is very different at the end. But the point that I want you to just to tell me if you agree or not is that chatbot maybe needs to make upselling, because we can have, I'm gonna go spoilers. We're gonna have Wacky, we have My Stay that do upselling, and myself, my company has also technology for upstay. I see those technologies that have a lot of investments and everything. They don't do the way correctly. I know pretty well Review Pro, and your COO is a friend of mine that worked with myself for long years. That's Neil James. Do you think in some point Review Pro will be able to include that, even if it's not connected to the PMS, because everything wants to be connected to the PMS? But do you think that in the near future, using the chatbot, given the opportunity to buy an experience on the region through the chatbots, have an e-commerce? Do you see that can be affordable? That's the question. Not concerning Review Pro.
Actually, actually the development right now, the focus is actually very much into connections. So we are actually doing a lot of connections, integrations with the PMS systems, different booking engines, as well as upselling tools. So obviously, we see that, you know, the hotels have a very big interest in being able to upsell products, services, you know, even the rooms or anything during the stay. So I think we get you, and you know, many people want that, you know, possibility to upsell when the guest is actually you know, during staying at the hotel, or, you know, going to check in. So with that connections and integrations that's available in the future, some of those have already been integrated. There are more to come, obviously. We have also integrated with some of the upsell tool already in place. So this will definitely help, you know, for the hotels to increase their revenue by having the opportunity to upsell any products that's available instead of just the chatbot responding to questions. They identify the opportunities to actually upsell them any products by identifying with the keywords and so forth. Yes.
Thank you so much, James. I need to speak with COO, no James, to integrate with my tool. Thank you very much, man. Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt all of you. So I'm in the background, but I listen for everything you said. So as I said, I'm the dark hand here on this masterclass. Nia, go ahead. I'm so sorry to interrupt. But every time I interrupt for the public also, don't be angry if I do questions. All my questions are going to be tricky, okay? Because we are in a tricky market. Market change a lot of things, and many people don't see it. So my role here is to push all those big companies, all those big sharks here, to answer those tricky questions. Thank you so much, Ms. Liaw. I'm so sorry. Please don't get angry with me. Thank you. Yeah, all yours.
Thank you, Vinny, and please keep interrupting, because we need your knowledge and insights as well, and, you know, make these tricky questions, because this is what makes it engaging and more interesting for our audience and for us as well, keeping us on our toes. So please keep doing that. So
thank you, Nika. Maybe at the end, when everybody goes out, they're going to have some emails or a message. Come on, Vinny. You know what? We want to kill you. But it's okay. It's part of the game.
That's okay. They can't kill you, right? So thanks to coronavirus, they can't even come and kill you. So I just wanted our other panelists to, you know, if you have any further opinion on what James and Vinny mentioned with regards to chatbots and how, you know, the guest reviews play an active role in, you know, hotel operations and how to improve that further. So feel free if you have any inputs, opinions.
I do actually have a question, James.
Oh, Ruben.
Yeah, so maybe you know, from your experience, do you see a higher conversion if the surveys and the requests for reviews are being sent through like direct messaging channels instead of email only?
At the moment, our emails, our surveys are all sent through emails. So, but obviously we have spoken to many clients, and we see the possibility In fact, many clients have feedback that they can achieve a higher conversion through messaging or SMS, or in fact for the China market, WeChat, which is why we are already very close to launching the possibility to send our surveys through emails, because obviously, like you mentioned, I think there is a very huge significant increase in the conversion if these surveys could be sent through the messaging systems. So there is something that is really coming soon on Review Pro. So I think that very soon we can give you the data on the difference between the conversion by sending the surveys through emails or the messages system. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a
Thank you.
question, James.
Sorry, before you continue, I have a question for Ruben. As Ruben is creating better connect and networking that as Travel Tech we already created, not the way he did it, or he's doing it. So Ruben, we speak about guest experience. Don't be nervous, huh? You have so serious. Don't be so serious, man. You need to laugh a little bit. So how you think also the guest experience will impact on what you're doing, because at the end, Don Connect is creating networking of professionals, not only with the major companies that you already have the connectivity, or how you think that will impact, because we're talking about guest connectivity here, guest experience, and how you think in the B2B guest experience will handle this. I love to be Darth Vader.
No, it's a very good question, and I think it's one of the main reasons that I actually started Bond Connect, because working with my experience in the PMS, we were working with a lot of different integration partners, but we also saw that sometimes it was challenging to create the best possible guest experience on the hotel floor, because there was an unclear scope on the regarding the integration, or sometimes the integration itself was not really something that hoteliers actually need, but was more of a prestige project between two tech companies. So what we're trying to do is to have an impact on the guest experience by making sure that if there are talks between two hospitality tech companies about an integration, to make sure that the scope is clear and it's something that solves a real problem. And that everybody has that there's an added value actually coming out of this integration. Also, what we're trying to do is to include these experts and hospitality consultants and people from different areas out of hospitality, to give them more knowledge and to teach them about the fact why these integrations are necessary and what they actually solve, so that the adoption of these integrations are also much more accepted on the workflow by hoteliers and pushed forward to increase the guest experience.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ruben. Thanks, Vinny. I think, Chris, you were trying to say something. Why don't you go ahead?
James, I was going to ask you a question. Have you noticed with the misuse of social media an impact on what comes through in Review Pro? We've gone through a period with a certain, shall we say, president in the United States that, of course, has used that medium for some very dodgy sort of things. Have you noticed that people are now starting to take that on, and do you see it coming through the product that you actually have?
Hi, thanks, Chris. Actually, for the hotels reviews that we have been seeing, except for spam, which people are trying to get attention for their businesses, they spam the Facebook page, or they spam the Google reviews just to get publicizing their business. Apart from that, we don't really see vicious attacks or things like that on the hotel's page, fortunately. But then again, our systems are also able to remove these unwanted reviews or feedback from the guest. so that we can actually remove this noise. The hotels can then have a accurate reflection of what the guests are actually talking about their hotels, and reflective of the actual situation, rather than including all this noise into the data for the hotels. So yeah, fortunately, not much impact from those attacks. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I was interested to know, because I imagine, a lot of people tend to do a sheep attitude. So it's good to know that that's not being reflected in what you have.
Yeah.
That was an interesting question, Chris. It was something that was playing on my mind as well. And I'm still amazed at James' response, because I would feel that somewhere or the other, it would actually impact, the brand reputation of the hotel. And we have seen that in the past, that, nasty reviews often, just to tarnish the image. Sometimes it is said that competitors do that as well, like possibly a neighboring hotel. So we do not know what is true or not. But then, yes, I think there are ways to, filter that out, and possibly, travelers would consider both the options. So anything you want to add? Yeah.
I think the good thing here is that most of the review sites, rather the OTAs, require a booking before anyone can actually leave a review. The only issues here will be like the review sites where places like Google, places like TripAdvisor, where you don't have to actually book a room, but you can actually leave a review. Then again, of course, you have to be registered to actually log in and to leave that review. And if probably you have been doing it very often, posting fake reviews, it might be noticed as well. Hotels can flag it to Google or TripAdvisor in this sense.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right. So I will move on to the next question, which is for Aqeel Ahmed from Virtual Console.
Are you
Aqeel,
sure?
your question.
You sure?
Sorry,
No,
Vinny.
let's go to the next question. It will be the black hand here. Love you guys.
Black hand.
Go ahead.
All right. So Aqeel, question for you. Has the pandemic changed the perspective of guests as to what makes them happy? I'll repeat. Has the pandemic changed the perspective of guests as to what makes them happy?
Hello again. Hello, everyone. Yes, I think there has been a sea change in the perception of guests. After the outbreak of this pandemic, we are not done yet, so it's continuing. And their expectations from what experience they would have at the hotel, and how they have to adapt to it. I think all of those things, besides what should be accepted as excellent service, I think all of these aspects have undergone a sea change. And both the parties, the provider of service, which is the hotel, as well as the guests, I think they have a changed perception because of the outbreak of pandemic. I was reading about this a lot along the along this whole period of last 1 year, and I realized that hotels that speak publicly about the changes they have made on their side in order to be perceived as more hygienic or better organized to ensure a virus-free stay experience for its guests, were being viewed more positively than those who were silent about it. So I think one of the things that the guests are looking for are public admissions of changes in the cleanliness policies, sanitization policies, and a host of other things that ensure that the guest will have a safe and virus-free stay at the property. So I think that's the most important thing out here that the guests are expecting. They are expecting the hoteliers to be going public, especially on social media and other easily available platforms where the guests can read about it ahead of their making the reservation and feel a little more convinced or a little more confident that the property owners or the property managers are in good shape to organize a virus-free accommodation experience. So that, to my mind, is probably the top item. And of course, once the guest shows up at the property, the check-in experience, and obviously, goes along with it is the checkout experience. As far as possible, these experiences need to be managed more through technology and less of human touch points. Because I think the first human touch point at a property is the check-in point itself. And if there are queues out there, or there is crowding of people, etc., and what have you, that can make the arriving guests uncomfortable. So probably there is more of an expectation now that the whole mobile app thing, which the industry has been talking about for some time now, which allows a contactless check-in, check-out, and room entry also. So, complete replacement of the hotel key concept. So it has become more relevant now. And it is something that guests are expecting more, that they would have some of that technology now replace the human contact points at the property, so that they can feel a little more comfortable about arriving at the hotel and going through that, the usual norm of collecting the key. So that, I think, is probably also one of the more important things. And obviously, needless to say that sanitization and the whole sanitization policy of the hotel, whether it has been talked about in the social media or not, is there to discover once the guest has arrived. And they can see it around themselves, and they can notice it. So all of the touch points, the door knobs and stuff like that, wherever somebody is expected to actually place a hand to accomplish an operation, is something that needs to be sanitized, as everybody knows. And its frequency and the policy and procedures around it can make a dent on the satisfaction of the guests. Also, very importantly, I think the whole industry has seen a huge change in the cancellation policies and last-minute travel changes, right? Because of the uncertainties around travel due to different countries going through different phases of the outbreak, making it very difficult for people to be able to predict whether they will be able to undergo the travel that they have booked. Managing cancellation policies in a manner that the guest does not feel shortchanged if they have to make a last-minute cancellation. It should be absolutely, free, and not only free, the whole experience of making the cancellation has to be very smooth and somehow serve as a selling point for future business. So the same guest should go through an experience that does not only refund the money that they might have committed, but also the hotels have to do it in a manner that the guests feel encouraged to come back and book that hotel again. So the whole the marketing aspect of it. So I think these are some points. And one very important thing, which is generally been a process at the most hotels, is being the in-stay feedback process. Generally you get a telephone call when you arrived in a couple of hours from arrival, or on the day you are checking out in the morning, as to how the experience has been. And most large hotels have some sort of an in-house department that's taking care of that. I feel this whole in-stay feedback process has become even more important now, because, like I said, both parties are new to this experience. Okay, most of us in our lifetimes have never seen a pandemic before. And we have all been adjusting to this pandemic as we have been discovering its impact, really. And we didn't have much of an opportunity to foresee it and plan for it. So while we are doing all the things we can as hoteliers, there may be some gaps in how we are expecting to make customers happy versus what the customers are expecting to receive. Okay. And those gaps can be difficult to really discover unless the guests themselves tell us about them. So I think the in-stay feedback process has become extremely important for the hoteliers, more so for them to discover what they are not doing right, what they're missing out on, and continue to improve on it. Just like what James suggested, that the feedback mechanism itself helps the operations significantly by pointing out the deficiencies in it. I think that aspect has become even more important now, and the guests are expecting that they will be heard of, they'll be heard, and their experience will be heard about well ahead of their checking out. So I'm a great fan of in-stay feedback mechanism also. So I think, for the sake of summary, or the sake of keeping it short, I would think these 3-4 points are now very important for guests to calibrate a stay experience and talk positively about it once they have been through it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. I just have a point here, if you let me.
Sure.
I don't want to bother anybody. One of the things that what Aqeel says is very powerful. However, we need to identify the difference between corporate and leisure. We have destinations in the world. Let's say maybe I'm not expert in APAC. I can be very transparent on that. I'm expert in America and Europe, Middle East, in Africa and Singapore. That's all. But when we spoke about corporate, okay, if we check Barcelona, let's say Barcelona, just because Barcelona is leisure and corporate. When we talk about corporate, we need to understand that the public is going to be very different. For example, or even São Paulo, where I'm based on. São Paulo don't have more than 33% average occupation. It's a huge city, 48 million persons. However, if you go to Rio de Janeiro, everybody knows Rio de Janeiro. I can see Chris' face. Chris' face like he's laughing, Rio de Janeiro. I'm sure Chris knows him, Rio de Janeiro. And Rio de Janeiro is a corporate city, but has leisure at the end. And automation, I think it's really important. And for the corporate, for example, automation will take the lead on corporate hotels or MICE hotels, but in leisure, not only resorts. Let's say a hotel that has 75 rooms and is far away, 50 meters from a beach. Do you think they will have automation? Or you think the people that go to beach want to go to the sea and everything, they want to have automation, or they want human touch? That's a question for you, Aqeel.
I think let's talk a little more and understand the concepts of automation. You can actually automate a process in baby steps. You don't need to install a full-fledged mobile application-driven system right at time equal to 0. You can start by reviewing your check-in and check-out processes, making them shorter. You can have reduced manual interaction as part of your automation drive. You start by automating. The first step in automating is to reduce manual interaction. And I'm sure our friend Ken Patel probably would be an expert on this, on how to automate things. But I personally feel that the first step is to reduce manual interaction before you even start automating. So if you are not in a position as a hotelier to make huge investments in buying an automation system from a vendor, you can start by reviewing and reducing your manual interaction processes. That's the first stage. The second stage could be that you start by automating a single component of the larger machinery. So let's say the whole check-in, check-out process has 6 steps or 5 steps. For example, collection of keys, settling the bill, depositing the keys back, etc. So whatever are these steps involved, I think you can start by investing in one step so that you are, like I said, moving in baby steps and getting closer to the eventual objective of being or having a fully automated process. So you can make investments in baby steps, do what you can, but make sure you're moving towards it, because eventually automation will be the one that will survive. That, I think, is the writing on the wall. And earlier we recognize it, I think better it would be.
If I
Did
may
that
also,
help?
yeah, if I may
Thank you
also
so much, Aqeel, for your answer. Thank you very much. Ken, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so I completely agree with everything Mr. Ahmed here is speaking about. And I will tell you that back in 2018, I felt the industry was going downwards and taking a major downturn. So that's where I started writing up EV Human. And what the pandemic did, and this is obviously my opinion, the guest expectations have always been the same. They've not changed. They have not wavered in any way. What now has happened is now we're forced to react because of the pandemic. And now that we're forced to react, automation has to come into place. And it's not just like, as Mr. Ahmed is saying, it's not automation does not have to be perfect. It still needs the human element. And, some of the things that we did in EV Human, and I'll give you this little examples. You have seen a bunch of contactless check-ins. This is the front end of the EV Human. You've seen tremendous amount of contactless check-in, but how many of them have a gift shop automation where we've added the digital scanner for the gift shop automation that eliminates the line process for a guest buying a candy bar or soda, putting them back in the line aspect, and that's what contactless check-in was about. That you don't have to wait in line. So why do they have to wait in line to go buy a candy bar and a soda? So these are the smaller components that we've automated. We've automated the receipt process where they can dispute their charge of their receipt. So now what do we do with the front desk agents? Now they're turned into concierge. And when they're turned into concierge, we expect a higher guest satisfaction rate. So, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that what automation isn't just a simple process that we have to be perfect at it. We have to execute automation. And the guest expectations that where we are currently have been the same expectations. Maybe we've added 10% more, but they have, being in this industry for 25 years and even the highest level of this industry, I know the guest expectation right now, and I'm not going to say right now, but 2019 and even going during the pandemic, they were almost identical to the crisis of 2008. when we look at 2008 and the financial crisis, those guest expectations were almost the same. But then I would probably ask Mr. Ahmed, is what do you feel that the automation right now, do you feel that it can get to another level? Or do you feel the automation that is being conducted at this point is probably going to be stagnant?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be about availability of investment dollars. Automation is definitely center stage now. It's in limelight, and it is now being acknowledged more. Like you said, things have always been there, pressing the hoteliers to take action, but they had not been taking action earlier. But now I think the pressure is more. There is better recognition and acknowledgement of the problem. And as soon as investment dollars become available, I'm guessing that most of the property owners will be moving in this direction.
Right. I agree. I mean, this is, and like I said, I'm just going to keep talking about me being in this industry, but it's where I look at it to the fact that we have been stagnant, right? And that includes myself as CEO back in 7 years in New York City, where I didn't have the authority because of the financial structure to make those decisions. But now, because of the large financial structure that I have, I can make any decision, right? And this is where no longer are people going to have a choice. There's not an option anymore. It's everybody. There's an article that came out that 76% of guests want automation. They want a simple click and go process, as Airbnb is, and we're going to be working with Airbnb down the road. They've asked us, and this is where now technology has never been in hospitality, has the play of 2020. Without 2020, we wouldn't have all this technology right now. So that's a given at that point. Now we're talking 2021 is how do we scale that technology, right? So we're talking about automation. We're talking about RPA. We deal a lot with RPA, and I kind of want to maybe get the panel's, feedback on how they feel about RPA in the hospitality industry.
I'm so sorry to interrupt all of you. I just would like to set here a point. Sometimes we use little words as a PA or GOP, and most of the hoteliers don't understand our technical language. My personal recommendation to all of you, when you set some signals like GOP or even RM, explain what that means, because most of the hoteliers that listen to us are independent. Remember one thing, we have 500,000 hotels, 4 and 5 stars in the world. For those 500,000, only 25% make part of a chain. It can be a core, media, whatever. And then we have another 1.3 million. That is little hotels, Airbnb, hoteliers that have 15 rooms. And if we speak with just Siegel, they don't understand. And most of our public, we have Accor, we have Hilton, we have Meridian, we have a lot of people here that understand what all these big guys tell. But my recommendation, anytime that you say a Siegel, explain what the signal means, because for the independent hotel, they're going to look to us and say, what happens here? Those guys come from Mars. I don't understand what is a GPO. I don't understand. But I'm so sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm not trying to be an awful person or confront you at all. I'm just trying to make the people that listen to us understand what we speak, because everybody that is here, we are hoteliers, technical, because that's a real thing. All of us come from hotelier side, technical side, and those signals is very simple for us. But for 99.9% of the people, that is not. So my recommendation, when you set some signal, please explain it. And I'm so sorry to interrupt. I will stop interrupt. That's going to be my last time till we start the discussion. Okay? Sorry to be that, but I recommend you to explain. If not, people don't understand. We have a very huge public. Sorry. Don't be mad. Don't be angry with me. And Rob, smell, man. You're in Australia. It's afternoon. Come on. After that, you're going to drink a margarita, and I will need to go sleep.
So I guess
Ken and Aqeel, I'm just interested because you guys are talking like automation is a done deal. It's coming like an unstoppable force, and I very much agree that it will offer a lot of benefit. There'll be productivity savings across all industries, right? All sectors. But with hotels, right, isn't this skill of operating a hotel in that personal touch, in that customer service, in making guests happy, the smiley face, that warmth, can you replicate that with automation? Do you stand to lose that? Do you think that's going to be detrimental to hotel operations? Do we not need to talk about it like a balancing act rather than just automation is going to take over and that's it?
So just to understand your question, Rob, so are you saying if automation can be automated with the experience aspect? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it's just, sort of looking at automation like that's going to come in driver operations. It's going to be robots cleaning rooms. It's going to be, contactless, non-personal interaction, check-in and check-outs the whole time. At every step, we're removing that face-to-face element. I'm just curious to see whether or not, as we're talking about it like it's a done deal, whether that's a good idea or whether hotels need to think broadly that, automation has a balancing act and that indeed, whether or not it's more important to guest experience or have that skill of human interaction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, great question too. And absolutely. I mean, what we've done with DV Human is created another version of experience. And, this is after we've spent, close to probably 2 million on market studies. And when we're looking at it, we've asked a lot of guests is, what do you want? What is it that you want? And a lot of the guests say they want the experience. They want a different experience. They want to feel like they're at home, right? They don't want to spend 20 minutes being checked in, going down the hallway, getting the wrong room key, walking into somebody's room, not having clean items. They want the experience before they arrive at the hotel, right? That's where we put AI components in. And we've put a lot of questionnaires, and we've tried to get a lot of the analytical information before they even get to the hotel. So we're more prepared as to creating that experience for them, right? Our back-end CRM, it's a guest CRM that has a whole holistic 360 view of the guest. And that's got all different tags. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith might come back to this hotel, and the hotel will now know every single item of what they want from the previous day. So it's really about this experience, right? It's not only creating an experience on one side of things, but it's also creating an experience on the other side. And can we automate that experience? Absolutely. Will the robots play a huge part in that experience? Most definitely. Most definitely. Because we feel that now when you have a robot that cleans a bathroom, the guest no longer has to worry about, did the bathroom get cleaned? Because it's automated. They don't have to worry about the housekeeper. And I know, being in this industry, the housekeepers hate the most is to clean somebody else's toilet, somebody else's bathtub, and somebody leaving pieces of hair in the sink. Those 3 items, the housekeeper absolutely hates it. So as a guest, it's a 50-50 when you walk into that room at this point. So that kind of process creates a better experience for the guests. I don't know if I answered your question, but you know, the experience definitely can be automated.
I think I'd like to sort of add to Rob's point. I think one of the biggest things with a guest's experience and satisfaction does come down to choice. And the choice has to be what you want. I've been in the industry a long time, and I remember when I first came in, and you know, I'm an accountant by background. I couldn't believe that people owned hotels, not to make a profit, but they just had it as a little side thing that they could take their friends to and do whatever they wanted to. Now we're back down to a situation where it is a business. The business, therefore, has to look at what is going to generate revenue, and what's going to generate revenue is meeting those guests' expectations. Now, I've traveled a lot in my life, and I have to tell you that there, as was also mentioned, the different types of business require different types of service. So as a business traveler, I do not want to go to a front desk. I do not want to have to interact. I want to get to the room. I've either come off a flight, I'm tired, I don't want to interact. I just want to get into that room and do whatever I've got to do, whether that be answer emails that have been building up or whatever it may be. When I go on holidays and when I go to a resort, totally different. I'll sit there and I'll watch the native dancers. I'll actually have the cocktail that comes. I'll interact with the people at the front desk. If the general manager or a customer service person comes up, be happy to talk to them. It's a different thing altogether. And I always look at the extremes in this industry, and the extreme on the other end that I always point to is an airport hotel. It's only 2 things: get in, get out. Because you just came off a flight and you're going to get onto a flight. So you don't want the lines as we talked about. So automation, fantastic. Whatever it takes, get me in, get me out as fast as possible, because I'm on a time frame that I don't control. It's controlled by whoever it is that I'm interacting with as far as transport's concerned. So yeah, look, I see what Rob's saying. I think that there is a place for all of the automation that you're talking about, and cleaning rooms and everything. It's going to help a lot. But there's also some people who are going to say, I don't want that robot doing it. I want a person, because I don't trust robots. Because unfortunately, people have this aversion to technology in some cases. So we've got to look at how we offer this service and whether it can be a choice, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think what Rob, Chris, Ken, Aqeel said so far boils down to understanding the guests. So very importantly, these days, I think, especially with the pandemic and everything else, understanding your guests is key. How to get that feedback. I think it's important to, apart from talking to them, sending them a questionnaire, a guest survey. You know, design the questions the way you can get all this feedback from the guests, and automate functions where you can then achieve what you want to achieve. So you know what to automate and what to provide a human touch. And by automating, I don't think it automates everything, but maybe the feedback to the staff, automate certain functions like getting the guest data before they check in. But you know, by doing all this, you are freeing up time for your hotel staff. Now they can have more time to engage on a more personal level with humans. You know, maybe this guy here, myself, I would love to talk to someone when I walk into the hotel, but I don't like filling in the cards, filling in my details, you know, at the front desk. But I would love a personal conversation before I go into the room. So I think with that automation in place, it couples with like that, you know, basic human communication, human touch. I think it's going to improve the whole guest experience, you know. And obviously here we need to first understand what your guests really want, you know, because different guests want different things, like Chris mentioned, different experiences. So I think understanding your guests is key to improving your offerings in this place. Yeah.
And
James said it, because that's been our goal, is to create automation to free up the employee time, right? So now the focus is back on the guest. So just like Chris was saying, if I stay at a resort, I want to feel this way. If I'm a business traveler, I want to feel this way. Now, what we've done is we combined it, where the combination comes together, where if Chris is traveling as a business traveler, he gets the automation, but at the same time, he gets that front desk to act as a concierge. So he'll get the resort feeling to it. So it's well said, James. I mean, this is exactly, it's been my vision for so many years, that how do we create that special feeling, right? It's how do we create that special feeling, whether you're a business traveler or you love to stay at resorts, or you want to stay at the Ritz-Carlton in South Beach, or wherever you are, you should get the same exact service. Streamline it.
Yeah, so it's customization as well as personalization is in this case to really improve that, lift that whole guest experience. Yeah.
If I can add something to that, I think it's also the guest is obviously number one importance, but hoteliers are also a quite important factor in this case. And I think a lot of hoteliers, started their job and their business because they're a host. They want to provide hospitality for guests, and they are not always necessarily interested in technology and learning everything about it and being an expert on it. So I think there's also a responsibility for hospitality tech companies to make these integrations as easy as possible. And make them available on app directories, marketplaces, whatever you call them, but to make them as accessible as possible for hoteliers to easily connect different types of solutions and to create an integrated ecosystem. So it's easier for them actually to create that automated guest experience without them without having it to be a requirement to be an expert on all these different topics, because it can be quite technical at one point. While there is no necessity for that, because through APIs we can connect all these things in the background and just make it super easy to connect it with one click of a button. So I think that's also something that we have to take into account when we talk about automation, that is something very important.
Right.
Absolutely. I'm so enjoying this discussion. I can't tell you guys. It's like, we're covering so many different points that has just, stemmed for one particular thing. So Chris, that was beautifully put. I loved the way you segmented and explained. And of course, James, you added on to it. Ken, Ruben, you make a very good point about actually making these technology available, because obviously a lot of innovation is happening in the industry, but hotels might not be knowing it. So it is so very important to bring it forward and make it available at the right place at the right time, so that hotels can leverage that technology. So really, I mean, amazing. I'm so glad to see we have so many questions coming in already from our audience. So we'll move to that a little later. I would just move on to, my next question right now, which is for Robert. Robert, my question for you is, how can hotel tech innovation generate labor efficiency? I think we have covered a little bit about, hotel. I mean, we have kind of touched upon this already, but I would want you to further elaborate on this, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, very interesting, the point that Ruben made about ensuring that when we, and as we bring all this tech into the hotel, that we ensure it's very, very adaptable, and it's very adoptable as well. It needs to be intuitive and easy to use. And that's something we're very focused on with Hub, because we recognize that hoteliers, GSAs, room attendants, we've got guys working in hotels have been in the same hotel for 30 years, right? And when they started in that hotel, they weren't using technology, they were getting the job done, and they're not always going to be the quickest or sort of happiest to adopt this technology. So if they're going to use it, we need to make sure that it's not complicated. We have to tap into the technology which they already use. So can we just use the basic features of a mobile phone to drive our operations and drive technology? So it's definitely a consideration, just to ensure that as it comes in, that's going to get a good uptake, and it's not just going to make the guest experience better, but it's going to make the staff experience better as well. We really need to ensure that their operational experience is improved and enhanced, and it's not going to be dragging them down. It's not going to be complicating the job that they've got to do. As we know, hospitality has been slow to sort of adopt technology and sort of innovate, but that is all changing now, and it's just changing rapidly. And of course, COVID has been very much a catalyst for that. Like the ways that we can really generate labor efficiency, we've touched on a lot before, and it's this word centralization. I think that's very key. The sort of typical infrastructure landscape in hotels has been very segmented. We've had multiple systems running all the different departments, and those systems have never spoken to each other. They haven't sort of integrated. We've been very separate. That's just means we've got more moving parts. We've got more systems that we've got to manage and maintain, and more license fees. God forbid we've got to work with too many software vendors. But also communications as well. Communications has been spread far and wide, and it's been sort of proliferating. So, there's the everyday conversations, there's the mobiles, there's the crackly radios that go on. People are sending emails, WhatsApp groups. There's a number of WhatsApp groups around hotels nowadays, sort of for different departments. And it's just an inefficient picture. So why can't that all get centralized in just one area that can be sort of really looks after and maintained as one sort of central focal point? When you reduce those solutions, when you centralize everything, it just becomes a much more efficient picture. So, I think we need to, look at that. And there's a lot of technology in this area, where we can reduce our tech portfolio, simplify it. As well, mobility as well. So having our guys in the hotel able to do everything they need to do from a simple device in their pocket, right? We can reduce the amount of time they're walking around the hotel. They don't have to be stuck at their terminals in their departments doing their work. They can do things in the hotel remotely. That means that they're in the hotel, they're on the floors, they're interacting with the guests, they're in the rooms where, we're putting them where they need to be, right? And they're sort of not wasting time going to and from the hotel so much. So we can sort of increase efficiency just by being in the hotel, doing everything that we need to do from our devices. So I think that's a really strong point. And with hub hotels, we've got housekeeping departments who say they're saving hundreds of hours a month, and that's exactly what we want to be doing. We want to be saving this time. We want to be generating these efficiencies, and it comes from just using the technology which our guys already carry. Let's give technology to their devices and be able to communicate through one centralized platform. And then I think as well, what's equally important is really focused, targeted information as well. So, gone are the days of, sort of getting on the radio, reporting an incident, having the engineering team come to that area to assess it, to then go back down, talk about it, to then decide what tools are needed. That's a multi-step process. We can make that more efficient. You don't have to be an engineer to log an engineering ticket. Somebody in housekeeping, somebody, in F&B checking the minibar, if they see an incident, if they see a fault that needs to be repaired, they can log that and send that information directly to the device of the shift engineer. They can see it instantly. They get that information straight away. They might be in that wing, they might be on that floor, they might have the tools on them ready to go. They may be able to go straight to that room. They're not going down to their department to talk about it. We're not doing sort of morning meetings to assess who's doing what across the day. We can just be instantly responsive. So, these ways we can just really, just by smarter use of the information flow around the hotels, we'll just generate that efficiency. We'll cut response times, we'll reduce, reaction times, and just make us more alert and more efficient. And, if we do centralize, and when we centralize that information, just having all that operational data to allow us to analyze it. That's just going to bring so much benefit. So, you know, having tools that are BI tools, so literally business intelligence, operational data that is captured and then is smartly presented back to your operators and your senior management and your owners and your sort of managers to see how we're operating and to spot trends over any given week or month or year, to see where we're not being efficient, to see what resources may need support. Having comprehensive operational data presented back to us at all times, that'll help us to understand how we're working and how we're operating, and indeed what needs to be streamlined. So, yeah, I think centralization, better management of operational data, and more sort of targeted instant communications. I think that's the key. And we're seeing it. There's technology out there that is already doing this for hotels and is bringing quite significant savings.
Thank you, Rob. I like the fact that you actually touch upon a very important point. Like, we all talk about guest experience, but you mentioned about staff experience. Obviously, human resource, which is one of the biggest assets, not only for hospitality industry, but for any company, any organization for that matter. So the moment we talk about centralization and how, we can make their role efficient and how their experience of day-to-day working improves. So that, of course, brings a huge change and improvement in their approach and how they are, dealing with guests. So really, love the point that you make here. Any other questions, opinion from our other panelists to what Rob has just shared? Please feel free to speak up.
Yeah. I think what Rob has just mentioned is clearly very important, because having all the different solutions or the technology in one single dashboard is ultimately what everyone hopes to achieve. And I think that's the direction most companies are taking these days, to provide a PMS, the guest engagement solutions, a chat platform, a platform to manage and respond to your reviews, and then having all this information consolidated, forming a guest profile where, like Rob mentioned,
I believe we've lost James again, haven't we?
I think it's really key. Am I back? I think I lost the internet for a while. Yeah. So I don't know where I dropped, but I was just saying, it's really important that, having that one single dashboard to manage the whole operations, to have that guest profile consolidated in one single dashboard, I think it's key to move forward, with open API, connecting all the different technologies to avoid information silos. So if I'm going to, access my platform today at a hotel, I know Rob is checking in the hotel. He used to stay at a hotel. His preference, what problems he encountered in the past, and I should avoid, him having that same bad experience again. So I think it benefits the hotel staff as well as providing that very seamless experience for the guest. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you, James, for that. So with that, I'll move on to my next question. I'm very conscious of the time. So my next question here is for Chris from Infor. Chris, how technology translates into your competitive advantage? How do technology translates into your competitive advantage? That's my question for you. So please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Nia. It sort of feeds, I think, on the back of what Rob was actually saying there. So it is about competitive advantage is actually what you can have ahead of whoever's you're competing against. And a lot of the time that is information. It's information. It's also being able to, as we talked before, about offering experiences. It's about offering choice within the hotel on how your guest wants to interact with you. So, technology has, and I go back to the comment that the pandemic has caused us to change how we feel and talk about how things should be run. I think it's just a wake-up call that things should never remain the same. And it's the biggest problem, I agree, with what's happened in the hospitality industry for a long time, and that is that we hate change. Change management in our industry has been a total and utter failure. And I'll give you an example. When we go and implement systems, what normally happens is you bring a new technology to the hotel or to the company, and you start to do the implementation, and guess what? They say, can we make it do what our old system used to do? And you think, well, hang on a minute. Why are you changing your technology at all? So the question that everybody's got to come up with is first, why? And the pandemic has produced an answer before the question was even asked. You have to do it because people expect something different. Now, competitive advantage is something that we need to get into this industry where people actually look at technology and see what it can do rather than making it do what they used to do. And it's what will produce a competitive advantage for that particular group or that particular hotel that takes that view. And it's interesting at the moment, we're seeing a lot more discussions happening in the industry as far as different styles of accommodation or different styles of hospitality offering that we didn't see before. And that's been again generated by the pandemic. So people are coming up with new ideas. Technology is the same. This is also why people should move to SaaS. And the reason for that is this. SaaS gives you the opportunity to continually be up to date with what that particular application is offering. And in doing that, that allows you to jump on that and possibly make it a competitive advantage for your company, for your hotel. So I'm very conscious of the time too, and I don't want to actually not allow Ruben to talk. So I'm going to stop there and just say, look, in summing this up, competitive advantage means increased revenue, reduced costs, increase the effectiveness of our experience that we offer, and make sure that your technology allows you to offer that choice, whatever you are and whatever you do. And with that, I'm going to stop. Thanks, Nia.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Very well put. And the point about SaaS, I think most of the companies, I mean, on-premise software is a thing of the past, I would guess. And even, big native systems are also moving on to the cloud. So definitely that is something that, is the need of the hour. And those who have not done it are left behind. So I think it ties into Rob's point about mobility and how, whether it's a guest or the staff, we should be able to access any information, any data that we need from wherever we are in the world. So point on.
Let's take
Yep.
storage, and that's another reason for SaaS. I mean, once we actually get data lakes, we get data marts, or we get larger volumes of data, we're going to have to store it. Security becomes an issue. There's a whole lot of things that actually push you towards, you need to be considering and move towards the SaaS environment. I agree with you there.
Absolutely.
Chris, can I add one more thing? Or ask you actually, and again, this points more to the hotelier as the guest. It seems to be a topic of B, but it just keeps coming back. But one of the things that you mentioned also is or that triggered me is the RFI, the request for information, or the RFPs, request for product or pricing. Sorry. That hotels are sending out. For me, being new to the industry as well a bit compared to you guys, this is such an outdated concept, because basically what hoteliers are doing is they're making a copy of their current system, putting it in an Excel or what kind of software they use, and making sure that all the functionalities that they have right now and they're using right now are being met. And for me, that was such an eye-opener in a negative way, because how are you going to plan change when this is your approach to buying new software? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I agree with you. It's a very antiquated way of doing things, and it doesn't allow for that innovation that they should be looking for with putting in new technology. I think one of the things that causes it is, as someone else commented, hospitality has been lagging behind a lot in, shall we say, where technology's at. And therefore, there is a fear that they can actually end up with something that doesn't do something that's, or have a function that is actually required to run a hotel. And I can tell you, there's still systems that are delivered without certain parts, and until they put it in, they don't realize it, because they go through a fancy presentation and basically that part is not covered. So the RFP, I think, is trying to cover people's butts, to be honest with you. I think that there should be a list of functionality that is there, and then that functionality can work in different ways anyway. So it's a matter of whether it delivers the result that's necessary. And if you go with a reputable firm or someone who's actually been in the industry a long time and has got a fairly large, base of clients, then you've got to be fairly well assured that you're not going to end up in that situation without functionality that's required.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ruben, for that question. Very, very relevant, definitely. So I will now invite Ken for my next question. Ken, we know that you are in the forefront of robotics and a lot of other tech innovation. So according to you, what has the revolution started in the industry? What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't hear that. It was getting cut off. Can you just?
Yes. I hope I'm audible. I was saying you are leading and you're in the forefront of robotics and a lot of other tech innovations within the industry. So my question for you here is, according to you, has the technology revolution already started for the industry?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say we are in a technology revolution, and people in the industry itself, they said I started the technology revolution, but I don't believe that. I believe that the technology revolution started when COVID began, and that's where the technology revolution in hospitality came to life. I truly believe that, and it's not going to stop as we see all this great software and these companies that are on this panel. This is all part of the technology revolution. So everyone's got to play in it. It's not where one person is going to beat out the other person. Everybody's bringing something to the table. So that is what's part of this technology revolution. It's the same thing when Elon Musk started with the auto industry. He started a revolution there, right, of the auto industry with the electric vehicles. And now you've got hundreds of electric vehicles. So I feel that now we've started this technology revolution. We just have to execute it. And I think everybody's execution is phenomenal. The way we're doing, everybody's delivering some way, somehow, whether it's for employees, whether it's for guests, whether it's for hoteliers. So it's in my eyes, it's already started. It already began in 2020, and it's going to keep going.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Any opinions here? Anybody would like to add on further? Because I do know that all of you would agree somewhere or the other, but any other thoughts?
I think Ken's right, and I'm really pleased that he's brought some of the automation that he has to market. It's a great move forward. And, it's something that guests also, as part of their experience with some of the robotics that are going into hotels, it becomes something of a wow factor. And again, that sets that hotel aside from others in that someone comes back and they talks about that technology or that automation that they saw, and it then will attract other people who are interested because they want to see it, they want to experience that particular thing. So yeah, I think it's a great way to go.
And I think you know, we've talked about robotics and automation. You know, what we've not mentioned is facial recognition as a sort of future technology within hotels. I mean, that's on the doorstep as well. It's probably slightly out of reach at the minute, and which operator is going to be the first to move. But you know, with the increasing need for contactless technology, you know, sort of reducing everything to singular touch panels. I mean, you know, that's still contact. If you want to go true contactless, you need to talk about these things. And yeah, maybe not in the next couple of years, but it is coming, and that's a huge undertaking for this industry.
Yeah, Rob, we've actually got that integration in China already with facial recognition. So we have actually used that for people coming into the hotels. So it is available today. So, but you're right, you know, that's the sort of technology that's coming up, and there's a lot more that we can do. You know, one of the things, it's just, I'm going to throw it in here. We're at the moment doing this, and we're talking about a seamless check-in and check-out process that we all seem to be thinking that is the way of the future. But I don't see why I can't be a virtual front desk person on a integration the same as we're doing today. And it means that I can be situated anywhere. Doesn't matter where I am in the world. And you talk about being able to use technology to reduce costs, increase satisfaction. People seem to be loving from working from home. So why can't I walk up to a front desk and not have to go to a machine, but actually go to a front desk where there is someone whose face is there and they can talk to me back and forth. We talk about checkbox. Why not this video conferencing type thing for check-in and check-out? I don't see why not.
It's funny you say that, Chris, because that's actually, we're creating the world's first all technology hotels. It's called EV, and it's going to be released here very soon. We just got funded a massive amount of money. Let's just put it that way. But, you know, they're the world's first all technology hotels, and that's part of it. You know, the kiosks are going to be virtual agents, you know, that we call it, that people don't want to use the contactless, and they'll just be virtual agents that are throughout the world. So I wasn't really going to speak about it, but you kind of just pulled my arm there on that one.
Wow. So you say it, we have it. Ken is on it already. Awesome. Good to know. And thank you, Chris, for bringing that up. So, you know, this we got to know this thanks to you. So let me now move to Ruben and, you know, do another question for him, and then we'll move to the audience questions. So Ruben, my question for you, again, we have touched upon bits and pieces of this thing, but how can you streamline your operational processes and increase the guest experience at the same time? So your thoughts on that, please.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we've talked about integrations and the seamless automation already quite a bit. There are just a few things that I think are important for hoteliers to know and sometimes are being forgotten in the process to choose the right solutions. First of all, I think it's very important for hoteliers to define their source of truth. So there are so many different systems now where data is sitting, and it is very important to define actually when you start your integration journey to make sure which system you're going to use to use the data from, to take the data from. Secondly, I think you need to find complementary software, and that sounds very logical, but we want to connect a software that uses the same data to perform another action, and that does not ask your guest to provide the same data twice. So basically, with the first step, where you have the most pure data that you can get from your guests, you should find a solution that is able to use that data again to perform their own tasks instead of asking for that data again. Because there's nothing so annoying that you have to provide the same data twice. And then the third pillar I think that is very important is try to make sure that you have a two-way integration, and make it as easy as possible for your guests to carry out the thing that you're asking the guest. And that could be anything from upselling, filling out a review. It should just be so easy for the guest to do it that it becomes basically a no-brainer to fulfill that task. And also in that sense, the two-way integration is, I think, very important to make sure that that data or the action or the information coming out of that action is flowing back automatically to the main system. So you have the circle of automation complete. And I think just one example to give it a bit more, to give it a good example is the first thing I talked about is the find your source of truth. Yeah, if you are talking about upselling, for example, you have the guest details maybe coming through your channel manager, but also they are there to check in. And they provide you with information. So that information goes into the PMS. So in that sense, I would say, okay, the PMS is a more pure form of data because that has been provided by the guests themselves at that moment when they check in, and you can use that data to create a very personalized message and also understand what their preferred way of communication is. That kind of information is probably not something that you will get through the channel manager, but you can ask those questions or include it on your check-in online check-in card to get that information. And then, of course, you want to make it as frictionless as possible, the third pillar. So you have to make sure that the guest choice, so if they want to take that upgrade or not, is pushed back into the PMS, changed, the room type is changed automatically, and the payment is also updated in the PMS in one single action. So that means basically that the guest doesn't have to do anything. They just, they are surprised by the personalization of the message, and they get it also on the communication that they prefer. And then all they have to do is just click yes, and everything is automated in the backend. And that's just an example of how important it is and how much impact this automation can have, on the guest.
Hello, everyone. I just coming back, so thank you very much to be here. But just listen to Ruben. Normally, we spoke about personalization. Ruben, don't be angry with me. Sorry, but I need to discord with you. Right now, we are in an ambience, an environment where we don't have personalization. What we call right now is hyper personalization. What means an hyper personalization? An hyper personalization means understand your guest, understand where your guest coming from, understand geolocalization of your guest, understand in social media, what is your guest from Facebook? What is your guest from LinkedIn? 7 points, is a lot of points, huh? What is your guest on Instagram? And right now, something that I just said, I will say, but maybe I'm not at top, is like TikTok or Snapchat, because of course I have 43 years old, but normally everybody says I have 52. I don't like that because I'm like white hair, okay, but don't care. But right now we can use TikTok to get a lot of revenue. Also, that is something I will just start in looking at it. So right now, personalization, it's old. It's really old. And if you think personalization, we change your business. We change, but I'm not talking about hotels, okay? I'm talking about an entire destination, a travel, a hotelier, a restaurant. If you want to sell and grow, you need to do hyper personalization. What happened in our industry? Right now, we have so much technology, AI, and all those things. I'm an engineer. I have 2 degrees in engineer, 6 different masters. But you know what? That is papers. Because papers don't make what you are. Normally, you grow when you feel what your client need. And on myself, with hoteliers, destinations, travel, restaurants is not my point, but the pirate boat, yes, I love the pirate boat. You know, you go there with your kids, you put the pirate, you put the, you know, the saying, you take the picture. You know, a pirate does a really good thing. But hyper personalization means something that people don't understand is nothing new. It's very old. Why nobody do hyper personalization? For just one point, nobody check on the hotelier sites where their guests coming from. We have a lot of technology. I'm a tech person. You can have a lot of reports. Most of the people that you have in a hotel, marketing, director of sales, COO, operations, okay, they're like, and normally, I'm so sorry to do this and say what I'm going to say, but I'm going to be very transparent. I always am at the end. Hotels is like a castle, okay? What I mean when I said castle, as I said before, 90% of the 500,000 hotels, 4 and 5 stars, only 10% it's managed by brands. All the others are familiar or has been built for a construction company. And then you have, okay, you have my boy. He just got a degree from Oxford. Okay, so Oxford maybe is different. But let's say, I don't know, another university. Miami, if somebody from Miami is listening to me, don't be angry, sorry. But you have your marketing people come from Miami University. And you say, okay, my boy can handle this. And no, he cannot. And sometimes even when you hire general managers for hotels, it's part of the castle. And be a castle, it's wrong. If you need to understand, you need to, I don't know how to say in English, you know, take this down and make your hands dirty and make the dirty work. And do you know what is the dirty work means? Get all your PMS for the last 2 years. Of course, not 2021, not 2020. Please don't do that. No. But take your hands and go to 2019, 2018. Take a report on your PMS, even if you have Afghanistan. Doesn't matter, because you're going to have at the end the passport. And check, okay, 1 year 2018, a year 2018. After that, you see the quarters or trimesters, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, and 3 months. And then you will see from where your client comes from for each season. And you will see a lot of people that coming back, maybe from 2018, and you're going to see a lot of people that just said, okay, I don't know how to sell my hotel, because normally, I'm so sorry for the hoteliers. Maybe somebody will, most of the hoteliers don't like me. But I love this because I'm not here to people to like me. I'm here to make them think. I'm here to make people grow. Yes,
I like
ma'am.
you. I like you.
Thank you. But I never will be, I'm not a polite person. I'm not a political person. I used to make part of big companies as Travel, Click, or Amadeus. Right now, I have 4 different technological companies. 3 of those are multinationals. We're not rich. We're small. However, the people that work with us It's because you tell the truth. And when you need to tell the truth, you cannot be big. You don't be polite. And most of the people don't like what they're going to listen. And the truth is, if you want to understand how to sell your hotel, doesn't matter, yes, matter guest experience, but before all of that, before guest experience, before distribution, before how you sell and book in hotel beds, go global, your booking engine, before all of that, you need to understand for where your guests coming from and how you do that. And the hotelier said, okay, you need to hire some kind of a EI technology to tell me what to do. No, man, what you need to do is push your hands up, put your hands, and I'm so sorry for the words. We are very corporate, but you going to put your hands in the mud, you know? You don't say another word. It's going to be very with the yes. I'm going to say mud because we're corporate. But you need to take your hands off and say, okay, let's understand. And if you check the last 2 years, 2018, you're going to see an entire year. And then 3 months, you're going to see each client buy each thing. And even if you don't have knowledge, at least minimum place. If you don't have an account person that manages Excel pretty good, please, then you are really in the mud. So at least have somebody that understands Excel. Because if you turn that for Excel, okay, I'm so sorry for everybody that's here. We were tech and say Excel is like Vinny. What are you doing? I see Chris. Chris Gribble is like, Vinny, come on, what are you saying, man? You're telling people to use Excel. Yes, Chris.
Vinny, I'm an accountant, and our applications drop a lot of data to Excel because it is a great tool that everybody knows, and you can manipulate that data fairly easy. I think it doesn't fit when you have a massive amount of data. When you have a massive amount of data, Excel cannot handle it. But what you're talking about, certainly, if you want to pull a period. Yeah.
It's not I'm not talking about analyticals. What comes from the media to understand where they're coming, where they come from Booking, Expedia, Hotel Beds, Go Global, HRS. I'm not talking that. I'm just talking your PMS. And Chris, tell me, you're an accountant. What are you going to do if you're in a hotel? The first thing it's going to do is check and do a really correctly Excel. You agree or not? I'm asking you.
No, I agree. Look, Excel is definitely the tool of choice of accountants because I know that from the systems we deliver. It's also probably the tool of choice for most people when they're dealing with lists, budgets. Everybody has to use it. So at the moment, it's still, yes, very much a huge part of most people's daily lives.
However, I'm going to do a little spoiler. If you're using Excel, hire Infor, please. Don't use Excel, okay? Because right now I cannot have OS, EV, Review Pro, but if you're doing accounting, you can go for Infor for that, for example, okay? I'm sorry, it's a spoiler, but it's sorry for everybody, but it's true. But if you want to understand how to sell your hotel, go to your Excel. Check 2018. 2019. We still have Singapore close different years. I assume Malaysia and Thailand do the same. Australia, no. They have they just blowing and selling with the US. And California is going to Australia a lot. But China, even China is open. They don't have so much people going there, for example. So right now, we're going to have more 6 months. And the pandemic, then will finish the virus. They'll say, okay, we're taking the vaccine. Hi, goodbye, virus. And everybody going to, no. The virus is going to stay. It's going to stay for long, long years. It's going to mutate and going to make more deaths during the next 5-10 years. However, if you want to understand and make money, take your PMS, understand each year, then divide 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And when you divide those 3 months, do something that's very important. identify if you are a hotel that has, I don't know, suite presidential, suite master, and then you have the executive and the standard. Check up and you can do it. It's very easy. Okay, I'm a programmer, maybe, but Excel is very easy, Greg. Chris, it's easy. It's easy to do that. It's easy. And to be very honest with you, I hate Excel. I'm good in scripting, Unix, telecommunications things, and C, very deep programmer. But you can check and say, okay, I have this family that comes every year, maybe 2 times per year on those 3 months, and they're next for me in 300 kilometers. They're not for US, they're not for Europe. And what I can do is send an email, and if you want to make a personalization, it's a high-level client that pay for and spend money in hotels, because everybody here knows. I'm gonna be right now. It's very dangerous. I'm gonna say, but I'm the kind of guy that go to a 5-star hotel, but I never use that little fridge. When I go to the 5-star hotels, they put like don't open it. And if you go with your wife and you wasn't a bitch, when you come back, don't open it, because it's gonna be very expensive. Sometimes I don't open it. Doesn't matter. I have the time to pay it. But if you do that, you understand that you have a lot of persons that maybe in this time it's not in your hotel because you didn't search in your background, and you have everything in your background. Even if you have the disease of Afghanistan, as I say always, because all the PMSs, if you don't have any kind of solution integrated, the first things that you see, receptionist said, Afghanistan is the first. I'm lying here. Can someone tell? Because if not, the public gonna say, okay, this guy is just lying here. Chris, what's the first thing you see in a PMS?
Yes, if you're choosing the country, Afghanistan. No.
How is the disease that we
But
said?
most people pick Australia because it's probably better one to use.
Is the second one. And then when you check yourself in Europe, I managed, for example, in 2005, I managed 3 hotels in Costa Brava, north of Barcelona, 1,800 rooms, 3 hotels, 5 stars. And I remember to check, and everybody comes for Afghanistan. And I say, no, but I'm seeing they're not for Afghanistan. Then you need to check, hey, do you have the copy of the documents? I used to be a DOS, Director of Sales. And then I said, why? You said, oh, I don't know, because we just said, and nobody's asked you. But if you check that right now, and this moment, and not for now, and for the future, you have solutions as Review Pro. You have solutions as EV. You have solutions as Infor. HubOS maybe don't manage the persons, but HubOS is so important for the customer to go to a bed and said, this is clean. How you say the fun? I don't remember the English word. Where I'm in Thailand, 40 degrees. You go, you how you say? Please remember me. I'm not good with
the air conditioning.
Air conditioning. Thank you so much. So this air conditioning has been cleaned. You just go and see a QR code. You check it, and HubOS said to you has been cleaned 1 day ahead, and you can check a lot of things. So everything is changing so fast, but it's really necessary that hoteliers also adapt themselves. And the first thing is about connectivity, and it's about the front. Because yesterday we have Expedia, that's one of our sponsors. Right now they're not here, I can say this. I love them, but it's true. If you want to have a direct sell and a correct direct sell, the first thing is not your price. It's not turning down your price. the first thing that you need to do is make the guest experience easier. What do we see all over the world till today? Okay, well, I don't have Accor as a sponsor, so I'll do this. Maybe it can be sold after. Don't care. But it's true. If you go to Accor or if you go to Hilton, the first thing that you'll see is a good image. But after that, you will see a lot of letters and write it. People get lazy right now. All of you, even if you don't like it, what I'm saying. Aqeel, Chris, Ruben, James, Ken, Rob, Neha, we are all lazy people. Why? Because if we take, or where's my cell phone here, for example? If I take my cell phone and I go to the website for a hotel and I see a good image, but I don't see where I can do the reservation. And after that, I scroll down and I see, I have a good, awesome spa, but write it. People don't care. People is getting lazy. That is maybe I don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. Maybe I will be dead. I prefer to be, because if I see that the humanity is going to be so stupid, I'm so sorry about my word, but it's true. Right now, it's visualization. You have four seconds, and people think that is a joke. You have for 2.7 to maximum 4 seconds. If somebody access your direct website to take a lead or reservation, 4 seconds, 2.7. How you improve that? Making the people read? Yeah, okay, read here. I have a lot of, look, it's a book. No, you go on impression. And I'm a marketing person also. I'm not a marketing degree. I have 2 engineering and 6 masters. However, everything that I learned in engineering and all the masters and the marketing and media marketing, it's nothing. Because I understood one thing that marketing people don't like: the red color. Red color is aggressive. Red color is bad. Red color don't make you grow. Everybody is wrong. When you have your hotel with a good picture, they go and access and said, reservation here, book here in red and big, is 1 second. You open up, and less than 1 second, you see book now. That's it. And if you have slides, you don't say the slides right now, okay, because last year everybody's saying you need to express how safety you are, how we protect you. Right now, people is tired. People really, even those people that don't get the vaccine, but they start traveling for leisure. Most of my friends here and all the others that will pass the next days and that you already passed in Brazil don't agree with me. But I have numbers that say that don't set in your first slide, we are a hospital, we have loos. If you do that, it's like, come on, man. I'm gonna go and say what I'm thinking, but it's like as I have 42 years old, you know what happens when you have that. You need to pass your fair man, so people as a man will understand. So you're gonna see as in a hospital. We are not in a hospital at all. So take a look for a package, an experience, and use the red button to book. That will change all the perspective. And stop writing. Stop writing. So I will let Neha interrupt because he wants to kill me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Aqeel, Chris, Ruben, Rob, Ken, James. Before you finish, did you answer all the questions for the public?
No, we are yet to actually go there. So I just wanted to take a few questions and pass it on to our speakers here. We'll obviously not be able to finish all, but let me start with the one that was shared by Shushanto very big in the beginning of the session. Sushanto Das is asking, when do you see a transition from a chatbot to an AI experimentalist, which is voice-based, integrated into various IoT devices? The question is
Sushant,
on the screen as well. Yes.
yes, Sushant, at the moment, we have, as I know, two companies, one in California that is creating this. It's under a project, and the other one is from China, and they're using the voice experiment, but at the same time, they're trying to build the voice experience attached with the mood of the person. For example, I want to reserve a hotel now. Can be aggressive. I want to reserve a hotel today. So it's not. We still don't have a solution on this. Surely, it's under development. But however, everything you said on your phone, iPhone, Android, is going to be taken. And if it says, I want to be a Nike shoes, you're going to see after half an hour, if you go to Facebook, you're going to see a lot of examples. But right now, my colleagues can answer, but as on my knowledge and based on all the experience I have with the companies, it's under development. As I saw till today, nobody still have an answer for this straight away. Maybe in the next 6 months we will have. Somebody want to say something? Go ahead. Nobody?
I've actually seen it in operation. Actually, it was 2 years ago. It was by Microsoft. They actually had examples where they had people talking to these AI, booking appointments in hairdressers and all sorts of things. It was actually quite impressive. It got one really wrong, which they didn't pull. They actually showed it. But definitely it's coming, and I don't think it's that far off. We will see it in probably our lifetimes, definitely, even mine. So, yeah, it's amazing what can be done as far as interaction between people and AI.
In the next 6 months, we're going to see something like this. At the moment, Google does it and does it very well for ads. Ken, go.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's already doing it. You know, we deal with Amazon on a few topics, and they told us that they have something. I mean, I use a lot of Amazon products, Google products too, but I mean, everybody knows once you're talking to Alexa, pretty much Alexa's reading all that information that you're giving her and absorbing all that information. So it's very easy. I think Amazon's going to be probably first to the game to do this.
I need to Discord with you. I'm going to tell you why. Because Alexa, you need to buy Alexa software. You need to buy Alexa hardware. The only one that is doing without you know about it is Google through your cell phone. Doesn't matter if it's Android or if it's an iPhone. If you go right now and say, I want to, but not a boat. I don't have money to bring a boat, but let's say I want an Nike's to run. If you spell it right now, and half an hour, you're going to have ads for Nike.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like this, my shirt for Argentina that we passed to the finals. Sorry, today we passed to the finals. If you talk about that, you're going to see that. Alexa only works if you have the hardware and the software for Alexa. But Google do that without any kind of component, or you buy something. You just need to have your cell phone. That's the only thing I disagree with you.
Right. But the only thing I would say to that, with Google, they scale so many products at once. And that it actually happened when they try to release their cell phone, and then they try to release something else with the Nest, with their when they bought out Nest. So they had the Google Nest that was rebranded. I think
Google phone didn't work yet, but they built Android.
they're just bad at scaling products overall. I mean, their products are great, but they're just horrible at scaling products.
Sure.
You know,
But
so
we can go 2 years ago, 2 years and 7 months, Google Hotels. They started with Google Hotels to compare. They closed it and they said, okay, let's go to Google Ads. Now we go Google Ads for free. And I can give you more examples about Google. They're approaching. Do you remember the glasses for Google? That everybody says, okay, it's going to be the, wow, where the Google glasses are, man.
they're nowhere to be found. I remember they were like $280 for a pair. And
I never pay for that. I never going to use it.
horrible.
Imagine you have this part and then you have a little thing to watch. Come on. No, I'm not a fucking robot. Sorry for the word. I'm so sorry.
It goes back to my point. They have great products that work, but they're just horrible when it comes to scaling those products. You know, they just don't know how to do it. I don't know. It's just something that's been there for a long time with them. It's bad. I mean, if Microsoft had those glasses or Amazon had those glasses, I mean, you would probably see them on every shelf in every store. You know, that's the difference. And that's why I think Amazon is going to be first to the game. You know, I don't know. I could be wrong and you could be right. Right?
No, but I don't want to be right. But concerning Microsoft, I'm like, out of my mind, Microsoft being the vaccines, that for me is a very dangerous thing at the end. But let's keep that out. Let's go to the next question from Diego Kuo. Diego Kuo asked us for James. Question to James. To ensure guest satisfaction, which ways are useful to detect issues in the guest experience prior to checkout?
Yeah, I think it's very common these days that hotels actually incorporate in-stay survey. So once the guests checked in the day itself or the next day, they receive an in-stay survey in their mobile app or through their email to, just asking them two very simple questions like how's your stay so far? Do you encounter any problems during that stay? And they are given a few options to provide a feedback to the hotel. And in the same questionnaire, they are also asked if they would like someone to contact them to fix that problem. Someone to call them, someone to reach out to them in the room, or someone to just text them a response. So I think the in-stay survey is a fairly easy way to achieve that. But these days as well, people love to text, so it is also possible to do so from the guest messaging hub. So like you can promote a website, a chat, or any channels that they are using, WhatsApp, Line, Telegram, where they can just reach out to the hotel and provide that feedback to the hotels. Like I need a towel, the bathroom is not working, your TV is broken. So you have all these channels now available for the guests to reach out to you, for you to render that service recovery before the guests actually check out the hotel. And it's been proven. We've spoken to some clients who actually implement this. They give the feedback that they are able to turn around very negative situation to a very wow situation where the guests were really impressed by what the hotel has done for them. Given that they fixed the problem within such a short time frame. So I think that should really answer Diego's question. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I recommend, not a spoiler, because Review Pro is the most connected platform for all, even with booking. Expedia. That is awesome. I stop here. We have Deep Gupta. During the pandemic, how will hotel industry will overcome from the loss of revenue and will satisfy the customer to attract soars down? We already answered her on the chat, telling her, get your prices 25% up and try to understand each is your client, because if you turn down your prices, you don't will pay the bill. And the moment that we know leisure right now, even inside countries, they have between 65 and depends if it's Brazil. I'm talking Brazil and Cancun. They have a 95% occupation during the week. That never happens. So turn up your prices, and but I let somebody else answer, and then we go to the next one, because this is going to be the large one, and I have 15 minutes more. I need to start with a pitch. So somebody else wants to say something, or I go to the next one.
I mean, I'll be real quick. I think whenever we do our shows, and even these other shows that I'm on, they ask this very similar question: is how do we have recovery when it comes to revenue equal to guest satisfaction? And I pretty much just tell them one thing: you're gonna raise your rates, but with the current staff situation, your rates are not going to equal the service. So it's got to be rates and automation. So, I mean, that's pretty much it.
What it just says is, even that's why I recommend everybody turn up your prices 25%. Because if you have only 25% of occupation, and if you deliver the same experience, it will be very expensive for 25% occupation. So let's go to the next one. It's a very large one. Neha, do you want to read this one? It's very large.
Yes, so I would actually just put in the question. The question here is, how do you think guest experience will be affected due to contactless check-in and check-out, less hands-on personalized communication? If it becomes a trend, isn't that the basis of being hospitable in the hospitality industry? I think we did touch upon this while we were doing the discussion that, the balance is required, yes. And it's not about removing the human touch or not having people to serve you. So if any of you want to add on further, I think we answered this earlier.
I think we answered all of that questions during them. Let's go to Terence Russen. Neha?
Yes. So automation is great, but it's not one size fits all. Certain demographics or tech averse and still want the personal touch. So one must look for hype. So I think it's not really a question; it is a comment. Which
there's a comment that we already passed
we have
through it,
discussed.
and we already said that automation needs to be there. But of course, as I said,
the right balance.
In my opinion,
yes.
Corporates, hotels, MICE, and corporates will be very automatically and automate. However, leisure is going to be different. I request an answer. That's an answer for myself. If you're in a resort and you request a margarita, do you want that margarita comes with a robot, or you want that somebody says, here you have your lovely margarita and your nuts? You didn't ask it, but we want to give you that. Nobody will answer. Okay, pass to the next one.
I think that is all the questions we have, because all the rest are comments. Basically,
just comments.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, to be here. I will be on the back. I will start in 25 minutes, the second pitch session of today. I will let Neha finish this panel. Thank you so much, Neha, for all your support, all your greatness work with us. And I'm so sorry if somebody feels offended by myself. Don't be. I'm just a very transparent and straight person. I'm a businessman, but maybe that kind of businessman that say what they think. So thank you very much. I let Neha
thank you,
say goodbye for everybody and give you 1 minute to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody, to be here.
Thank you, Vinny, for your inputs. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. That was an amazing discussion. I'm sorry we went over time, but I'm really so glad to be part of it. This was a valuable and engaging discussion. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And a big shout out again to all our attendees for joining in today. So thank you to all of them. Let me ask my speakers to quickly say goodbye, and then I would like to just mention about the next pitch session. So why don't you all go in and parting words before we finish the session? Starting with James.
Hi. Thank you everyone for being here, and I'm really glad to be part of this panel with all the very experienced and great people. It's been a great discussion. Really enjoyed it very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, James. Aqeel.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for a great and very interactive session here. I think it was a great learning experience for me as well. And I look forward to being part of Travel Tech next time also. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you so much, Aqeel. Rob, over to you.
Oh yeah, just to echo those sentiments, really, it's been a very, very fruitful and fertile discussion. Really, I think it's been incredible. We've covered a lot of ground. We've obviously really connected on some common themes where we all agree this industry is going, and I think it's been, really, really deep and really enjoyable. So yeah, thank you to everyone, and thanks for inviting us. It's been great to participate.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for joining in. Chris, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Nia, and thank you all the panelists. I've really enjoyed the interaction, so appreciate it all. It's been a great information collection for me as well. I must admit, some of the things that we've discussed today have certainly generated some additional thoughts that I'm having. And thanks to the audience, because without you guys out there, this wouldn't be happening. So great for you to attend, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris. Ken, your parting words.
I appreciate everyone being here. Obviously, the great audience that we have as well, and then you being a great moderator as well, Neha. This was very exciting. Now, I gotta say, this was probably one of the best ones I've done so far, just because the engagement was just there. I mean, the engagement, everybody was engaged about it, great topics. And usually I'm not this engaged as 4 a.m. yesterday my time to 12 a.m. my time right now. So, no sleep in hospitality. That's what they say. So, it's fine. So I'm excited to be part of this for the long term. I know more events are coming, so I look forward to it. And I obviously look forward to connecting with everyone here as well.
Thank you so very much, Ken. Such a pleasure to have you here. Ruben.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with all of you, and also with Ken. It has been one of the most engaging sessions I've ever done, I think, online. So that was super good. Thank you, Nia, for moderating it so well, and Vinny for your insights as well. And thanks for being here, and it was super cool to do.
Thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you, everyone, for your insights. Really, it was such a pleasure and honor for me to be here and to be part of this discussion. We will have the pitch sessions starting at 13 hours Hong Kong time. Today's speakers include members from Sabre, Book Online Now, Erovmax, Vibe, Expedia, Simplotel, Royback, Bond Connect, as well as Canary Technologies. So do tune in. And once again, thank you for joining in. Vinny, any parting words from you? I'm not sure if Vinny is there. So on that note, it was a pleasure, gentlemen, and look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you, and thank you, everyone, to the audience for joining in.
I'm back. Sorry, I'm back. Just to finish, just to let you know, we got 275 people in total, an average of 26 minutes per person. So that for us is a great number. Has 275 persons for 27 minutes. It's great. Thank you all. You make this happen. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.